Today we're going to be talking about all the new and upcoming ultra-wide OLED monitors that offer a higher resolution and pixel density than the options that are available today. We're talking here about WUHD resolution of 5120 by 2160, an ultra-wide 4K resolution basically, commonly referred to as 5K 2K, that will be available on monitors of 34 inches, 39 inches and 45 inches in size. We'll talk about the specs, benefits, timelines and everything we know so far about the panels and the actual monitors that are going to be released. Over the last few years we've seen ultra-wide QD OLED panels released from Samsung Display, going all the way back to 2022 in fact. Their panels are 34 inches in size with a subtle 1800R curvature and a 175Hz refresh rate. That was later updated then to 240Hz in 2024 with the newer second gen panel. They haven't manufactured any other panel sizes since with this 21:9 ultra-wide aspect ratio though, only these 34-inch panels. We've also seen LG Display release 21:9 aspect ratio ultra-wide panels over the last 2 years with their competing WOLED technology, with more sizes being offered by them, which include 34 inches, 39 and 45 inches. Their panels have a steeper, more aggressive 800R curvature and all offer a 240Hz refresh rate. So far then, all of these 21:9 ultra-wide panels have featured a 3440 by 1440 resolution, a comfortable and sensible size on a 34-inch screen, which offers a pixel density very similar to the wide range of 27-inch 1440p monitors on the market. However, on the larger 39-inch and 45-inch size screens, this does start to become a little bit low. The resolution is okay for multimedia and gaming, not adding any additional strain on your system despite the larger screen size. It's also okay if you're going to be sat further away from the screen, perhaps for gaming from a joypad, also for console gaming or watching a movie, where the relatively low resolution is less visible and the added screen size increases your immersion and comfort. However, the relatively low resolution on these larger screens is problem number one, we think, with these larger current ultra-wide OLED monitors. The second problem, we think, for some users is that those larger panels, with the exception of one monitor released so far from Corsair, which is bendable, all have a steep 800R curvature. That's okay for some specific close-up immersive gaming like sim racing for instance, but it's less convenient for other game genres and for general and office work or more distant viewing positions. This year at CES in January, we saw LG Electronics announce 2 new 45-inch ultra-wide OLED monitors using a new LG Display WOLED panel that offers a much higher 5120 by 2160 resolution, combined there with a 165Hz refresh rate. This so-called 5K 2K resolution provides a pixel density of around 125 ppi, a significant step up from the approximate 84 ppi of the older panels of this size, bringing it somewhere in between the 27-inch 1440p and the 32-inch 4K panels in terms of pixel density. The first monitor LG Electronics are releasing retains the steep 800R curvature from the older low resolution models, but does address this resolution and image detail problem quite nicely. This screen has a 165Hz refresh rate and supports a dual mode function, allowing you to drop the resolution to 2560 by 1080, but double your refresh rate up to 330Hz if you want to prioritize frame rates and speed over image detail. In other specs, the screen features decent 2x10 watts integrated Virtual-X sound speakers. It supports hardware level calibration and includes USB Type-C, HDMI 2.1 and DisplayPort 2.1 video connections. Note that the DisplayPort 2.1 bandwidth is UHBR 13.5, not sufficient to power the spec without needing to use display stream compression or DSC. With the panel itself now in mass production in Q1, this new screen is expected to be released in April at a price of $2,000 US. The second model that they announced for later on looks to tackle both the problems that we discussed earlier. Not only does it have the higher 5K 2K resolution, but it also addresses the steep curvature concern through the use of a bendable panel. This model features a motorized bending function that allows you to switch between 900R curvature and a flat format, or stop anywhere in between apparently. It has the same 165Hz native refresh rate and dual mode support again, and also includes hardware calibration, HDMI 2.1 and DisplayPort 2.1 connections. This one doesn't include the integrated speakers or USB Type-C connection that the other curved model does. More info on both of these screens linked in the description below as well. There's no timelines given for the bendable model at this stage, but we'd expect it to be more expensive than the curved model. So, LG Electronics are first to announce any new ultra-wide OLED monitors with the higher 5K 2K resolution, which is only available at the moment from WOLED technology panels. We'd expect ASUS to release a display of their own using this new panel, as they're one of the few leading manufacturers who provide Samsung Display QD-OLED and LG Display WOLED monitors. Hopefully they're going to offer a flexible and bendable version, as the steep 800R curvature is not ideal, we don't think. Look out for possible news on that in the near future, although there's nothing official that has been confirmed at this stage. Corsair and Acer are two other manufacturers who have released WOLED monitors in the past, including 45-inch models. So it's possible that they'll also be exploring the new display panels and using this new panel at some point. Others like Samsung Electronics, MSI, Gigabyte, Dell, Philips, and also recently AOC, they've all basically committed to QD-OLED technology for their OLED monitors, so it's unlikely we'd see any WOLED 5K 2K models from them. So that's a 45-inch ultra-wide panel with the new resolution and a 165Hz refresh rate. What else is coming then? We know that LG Display are also developing a 240Hz refresh rate version of this panel, and we expect it to be released later in the year. To power 5K 2K at 240Hz, you will need to have a DisplayPort 2.1 capable graphics card, as DisplayPort 1.4 just isn't going to be enough, even when using DSC. Those have only recently been released by Nvidia, which we believe is one of the reasons why there's been a delay in the higher refresh rate version of this 45-inch panel. Any tier DisplayPort 2.1 will be okay for those 240Hz panels, but in contrast, the 165Hz option that's being released first can still be run using DisplayPort 1.4 with DSC, making them far more accessible to the mass market right now and to all of those users who have a DP 1.4 capable graphics card. If we look at the panel roadmap for LG Display's ultra-wide WOLED technology, we can see their original 45-inch panel produced in 2023, which we refer to here as Gen 1. Last year, they produced 34-inch and 39-inch panels, which we label as Gen 2, as they offer a higher pixel density and higher brightness too, but all of these options have been restricted so far to that 3440 by 1440 resolution. We've already talked about the 45-inch 5K 2K panel, which should be in mass production now, which we'll call Gen 3 as it's being produced in 2025. It's got a higher pixel density again, and it also includes their new sub-pixel layout, which helps improve text clarity. Later in the year, we know that LG Display are also planning to produce a new 34-inch and 39-inch ultra-wide panel with this same 5K 2K resolution, with refresh rates listed as 240Hz. The curvature isn't listed in the information that we have, but we expect this to be 800R again, like all of their previous ultra-wide panels. These 34-inch and 39-inch panels will offer pixel densities up to 164 ppi, which is basically the same as the new 27-inch 4K OLED panels being released in early 2025. These smaller, even higher pixel density options are expected to go into mass production in Q4 this year, and we expect that will end up being towards the end of Q4. So we would potentially expect to see monitors announced at CES 2026 next January. LG Electronics and ASUS are likely to lead the way, we think, with monitors using these smaller 5K 2K OLED panels when they're ready, but it's too early for any official news at this stage. We do hope that there'll be some bendable displays released again in these sizes and not just super curved models. We expect those smaller options to be more popular than the very large 45-inch panels being produced and released this year, being a more sensible size, we think, for many users and offering even higher pixel densities for productivity and text work. In the meantime, we're certainly excited to test the 45-inch models in the near future. Do subscribe to the channel to make sure you stay up to date on those reviews when they're coming. We're not expecting Samsung Display to produce any QD-OLED panels with an ultra-wide format or higher pixel density this year in 2025. None were announced for their 2025 Gen 4 lineup, and apart from their 34-inch panel, which they refreshed last year already, they haven't ventured into the other sizes like 39-inch or 45-inch themselves yet. They have, however, already proved that they can produce panels with the required pixel density, so hopefully next year they will offer some 5K, 2K QD-OLED options as well, especially in that popular 34-inch ultrawide size. We do actually prefer their more subtle 1800R curvature, so it would be great to see them produce panel options in the future. You can check out all of the latest Gen 4 Samsung QD-OLED news and panels in our video that's linked below. So there you go, that's a full look at the new ultra-wide OLED updates and roadmap for this year and next. If you'd like to help support the work that we do at TFT Central, you can find links to our Patreon below, where you can also get various benefits like early access to new reviews and articles. Do let us know in the comments section below if you're thinking of buying an OLED monitor this year, or what you're most excited about in the OLED market right now. Thank you for watching, we'll catch you next time.